Hey, it's Key Creative Studio, Master Drawing Japan. Let's make a point to draw every day. It's been a little while. I haven't um, done any looks in my sketchbooks recently, so I just went through my old boxes and I just grabbed a bunch of like old sketches and stuff like that. I thought I would go over it with you guys today. So I have two old sketchbooks. I don't think I've shown these before, and I got some notes here. I don't know if this is important for you guys or interesting, but typically the paper that I draw on is a Orion croquis um, paper. It's typically it's a smooth paper. It's not rough. The reason why I like this paper because when I draw, typically I don't want too much. I don't want too much drag on the paper. I want to have like a smooth skidding experience. However, if it's a medium that, oops, it's a little dark here. Hold on. How's that? Okay. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, sorry. Yeah, typically I want to have like a smooth experience, but if it's a media that I'm working with that's maybe not as cooperative, like maybe it's like a water medium or maybe something like very very soft. I might use a rougher paper, so I can have a little more control. So anyway, I'm just gonna go through these. I have no idea what's in here. I just grabbed these and I just thought I would go through these. Well, obviously these are some anatomy studies, which is something that I am always doing, and I recommend for you guys, when you're when you're like you're kind of like sharpening your tools, to do an anatomy study, like do a study of a part of the body, like maybe like you're having difficulty with. I always had some difficulty, like really trying to like design this leg muscle here. So it's not just the, like the gluteus, and like of course like the quadriceps and then the biceps behind it, but it's this muscle, which is basically that's like the ilial tibial band, which actually like it comes down and it goes down like into the knee like that, and typically it's not that developed in most people. Maybe like in bodybuilders and stuff like that, you might see it very very developed. But there's an artist that I like that actually really like shows like the power in the leg for that, and I wanted to understand that. So yeah, more studies of the leg here. Yeah. So oh, actually I think I put some notes here in terms of like what the muscles are. I recommend like you guys, when you're working things out, like your sketchbooks, it's kind of like your way to make your understanding about what you're trying to communicate more clearly. So I write down some notes as much as possible to make sure that I don't forget certain things, or I'm drumming into myself my understanding of things more. So like this VL is of course like this the vastus lataris muscle. That muscle I was talking about before, that's the iliotibial band. Again, it's not that developed in people. This is also the biceps femoris and the I'm sorry, that's gosh, biceps femoris, and I forgot. So it's on the back of your leg, there are two muscles actually. So anyway, yeah, that's the biceps femoris, and it's this other one here. So anatomy study, but also I wanted to work out some modeling tone as well. This is something a little different. This is a landscape I was doing, but I was doing by showing the negative spaces actually, showing contrast. So you don't always have to like show information by putting something there. It's kind of like what you don't show is also is information as well. This is a composition I was playing with actually, because you have all the heads like coming down to this guy. This man is laying here, and I'm pretty sure I was probably looking at an Albert Dorn illustration when I did this, but I was really interested in terms of like the composition of terms of all the heads pushing forward down like that. And actually, it's a good composition if you really think about it, because it's really the composition is is this, you have like bump, 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 and then bump, right? All of them going forward, down, and like that, So it's a good composition actually. Okay, let me keep this moving because I don't have too much time and I don't want to take your time. I guess these are a lot of composition drawings I have in here. So this is something I did in pen, and the style is a little bit not Borraccio, Cartona. There's a Cartona sketch that I saw some time ago, and yeah, it's a little bit inspired by that, but have everything like rising up like this. So yeah, this was fun actually. These are definitely Buscema studies that I did here, because that looks like Conan the Barbarian actually. Let's see, I could find my trying to find my pen. One second, guys. 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm not doing you guys any favors here. I can't find it, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. The things that you want are never around when you want them. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But I was always I was looking at the way like Buscema was designing like some of his characters fighting, and I always noticed like he was always like playing against opposites, even just like how he juxtaposed the characters towards each other, right? So basically you have like this man's head like is going in this way, right? And then you have like this man's head like going that way, right? This leg is going out and like this, and then like this leg is like going in. So everything is like is played against opposites actually, which makes it interesting. And that's a constant thing that we see in illustration or animation, which is always like play against opposites. Contrast always creates interest, right? These were drawn with, if you're wondering, with an Namiki Falcon fountain pen. 1 second, I am going crazy because I want to find my there we go. Now I feel better. Good. Good. Yeah, so this is what when I draw in pen, this is what I draw with. This is a Namiki Falcon pen. And I like this one very much because it really does encourage me to make my lines, to draw through and to sweep, make sure, when I'm drawing. So, okay, all right, got that out of my system. So, this is very much a Buscema style kind of drawing I took from somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. Just Buscema always, would constantly, like draw like the bicep, like these really huge like round biceps. The bicep is actually, it's almost like it's often the size of the character's head. Which is interesting. So again, that this muscle here, again, that iliotibial band that he exaggerates, it really does, like, it does make the the thigh like look really powerful. Looks very, very, very powerful. Particularly like when the character is is like crouching or running or something like that. So that's the thing, about like when you design your characters. I mean, you have like what is real, and then you have like what is dramatic, or idyllic, So it's not always the best idea to just draw how they exactly look. You have to like show some editorial, your what you see, about it. So just some women's faces. This might be a friend, actually. This looks a little bit. I think I might have based this on one of my model friends, actually. And okay, more studies here. This is not my usual way of drawing. I was just trying something different. Okay. Another attractive woman. Another attractive woman. Okay. You have Marlboro Man here. Okay. Again, yeah. See, make notes for yourself. Make notes for yourself, because it helps you to remember, and it also helps for you to retain things subconsciously. Actually, the things that I someone can tell you something directly, consciously, and you'll say, yeah, I got it, and then I don't know, you get hungry or whatever, and then you forget it. So in order for things like to take root, you really have to be exposed to it as often as possible, and not always so overtly. Sometimes it should be maybe kind of subtle, but it has an effect on you. Like interior design or architecture. You're because you're up on it, so close. You don't really literally see the design, but you feel it. You know what I mean? So anyway, here's some notes here. Graphic shapes are almost, if only by a bit, as important as the gesture. And I agree. Yeah, graphic shapes are very, very important. Because the gesture is very, very important, but also the overall graphic shape also has a very immediate impact in terms of how your audience, how they first receive that, that the first impact of that information. Okay. Yeah, I believe the brain picks up the graphic shapes almost as primarily as it picks up the gesture, and I think that's right. Our brain is always trying to look for, or trying to orient itself in terms of like what is the contrast between things. And you know, the gesture is one thing, but the gesture is basically, it is framed by the graphic shape of the overall body, right? You know, like you have like this woman, you know, she's like kneeling here, but you have like this triangular graphic shape, right? You know? Or even like, you know, this guy crouching here, right? You know, you get this triangular shape like that, right? More barbarian studies. These are straight Buscema, you know, wannabe sketches. That's mine. I was doing that was a thumbnail I was doing for a Vampirella drawing, which I never finished, but actually, that's what that is. That's very this is also is a thumbnail, and I believe, I'm sorry, I forget who the artist is. Might be Rubens, possibly, but basically this is it's not the title, but the subject matter is, it's the abduction of Samson. You know, if you can see it. You know, yeah, I mean, here, like, you know, you have these figures pushing in here. It's kind of similar to that other composition I had before. You know, everything is pushing over here like that, and then like laying like this. Of course, you have this man coming in here like that, and of course, like you have Delilah's handmade back here. You know, so another anatomy study here. It's the way I used to sign. It's the way I used to sign my name back in the day. I think I read in Chuck Jones's autobiographies that artists spend half of their time in art school practicing their signature. So I'm guilty as charged. You know, this quasi, you know, Disney looking kind of thing. You know, I did that for a while. Yeah. Hey, you know, we all go through phases, right? You know, we have to kind of like work things out sometimes, to really experience things and go through it, so we can know like what we, you know, what we don't want, right, and what we do want, right? I don't know. This is way too skinny, actually. The yeah, it should be kind of like that. It should be like this, and then like you have like um, the teres major coming in like that. I don't know why I drew it like that. Hands should be also like this. So another composition. Oh, this is also Samson. This is also the abduction of Samson. Also, he's going back like that. You know, they're putting the ropes on him. You know, this guy's, you know, trying to put him in a MMA hold over here, and yeah, this guy is also, you know, he's trying to hold him down. Handmaiden is here, and Delilah is here like that. And I did this drawings many times. This might be either Samson or Hercules. I don't know. They both taken down lions in their day, but yeah, composition, contrasts, light, so dark, light here. You have this angle bring you here, and then, you know, the flow of the tail bring you into the body like this, right? You see, like there's an S curve, right? And then like this is pushing in like that. And sketches of a model here in Japan named Yoji Liao, and it's really good, nice guy. He's a very nice guy. He's one of my favorite male models here. He's a really cool guy. He's Japanese, but you know, he has a very well developed body. Yeah, he's very good model to draw. Very good model. Yeah. I wonder if